contributed over $20,000 to Trinity United.
Not once in my conversations with him have I heard him talk about any ethnic group in derogatory terms, or treat whites with whom he interacted with anything but courtesy and respect.
They live below the sea level. They live below the level of Clarence Colin and condemnesia.
Hillary was not a black boy raised in a single-parent home. Barack was. Barack knows what it means to be a black man living in a country and a culture that is controlled by rich white people. Hillary can never know that. Hillary ain't never been called a nigger. Jesus was a poor black man who lived in a country and who lived in a culture that was controlled by rich white people. For every 1 pound of skis of rice, you got 1 million in prison. Jesus taught me how to love the hell out of my enemies.
Jesus tells us that we're supposed to bless those who curse us. We're supposed to love those who hate us. And so that's a very, very different attitude from the attitude that I heard expounded on those little clips that I saw on television.
And given the fact that Barack Obama is a very intelligent person, he was asleep or absent most of the time over that 20-year period, you know, or he embraced the theology in its totality.
This is a church Barack Obama's mother, grandmother, grandfather could never feel a part of, could never feel comfortable in. This is a young man so desperate to establish a black identity that he, in effect, betrays the people who love them most. It's painful to see.
Less than 2 months after the mainstream recognition of Reverend Wright's inflammatory doctrines, Reverend Wright was on display at the National Press Club.
We both know that if Senator Obama did not say what he said, he would never get elected. Politicians say what they say and do what they do based on electability, based on sound bites, based on polls. You cannot do terrorism on other people and expect it never to come back on you.
The next day, Senator Obama offered a stronger reaction to the spiritual mentor he said he could no more deny than his own family.
I've known Reverend Wright for almost 20 years. The person I saw yesterday was not the person that I met 20 years ago.
Reverend Wright's always been Reverend Wright. The idea that he doesn't recognize the Reverend Wright of old is, you know, of course he does. Well, if Barack Obama can't see through that, what does that say about his presidential judgment?
And then I've got to give a special shout out to my pastor, the guy who puts up with me, counsels me, listens to my wife complain about me. He's a friend and a great leader, not just in Chicago, but all across the country. So please, everybody, give an extraordinary welcome to my pastor, Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright, Jr., Trinity United Church of Christ. Where's he at? There he is. That's him. That's him right there. You wearing a suit today, right?
1 year after calling Jeremiah Wright his friend and a great leader, Senator Obama sent a letter to Trinity United's new pastor, Otis Moss, saying that they were leaving the church.
He would clearly not have left that church had he not, had this whole Reverend Wright episode not exploded in the media.
I think that Senator Obama has shown that he is a practical politician, and he is not going to stick with anything that's going to cause him trouble in the campaign. So he threw his pastor under the bus without worrying very much about it.
But what is even worse is the possibility that he does not believe what they believe. Because then you have the specter of someone sitting in a church listening to for 20 years, listening to an ideology that he does not believe in. That belies a capacity for self-betrayal that is truly amazing, that is truly a problem, a personality defect.
But Reverend Wright isn't the only religious leader who might make us question Senator Obama's judgment.
Racism is still America's greatest addiction. I also believe that America is the greatest sin against God. So then, this greatest sin against God, racism, it's as natural as the air we breathe.
Father Michael Pfleger's pronouncements stunned America, but were not new to Senator Obama. Pfleger's endorsement was featured in a newspaper ad for Obama's 2000 congressional campaign. In a 2004 Chicago Sun-Times article, Senator Obama described Pfleger as a key source for his spiritual guidance. He was on one of Senator Obama's religious advisory bodies, as was Reverend Wright. As a state senator, Obama provided grants of over $200,000 to Pfleger's church.
And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back while you tear down Farrakhan and Jeremiah Wright. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you seek to reduce Jeremiah Wright, who's one of the greatest biblical scholars this nation has, to a 30-second soundbeat and try to demonize him and trivialize him? You cannot do that. We won't allow you to do that. Because when you take out him, you take out all of us.
They say Farrakhan is a hater. He hates white people. See, I love Father Pfleger.
Not only are Reverend Wright and Father Pfleger a concern for Senator Obama, so is Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan.
But the most shocking thing is the award for Lifetime Achievement.
In December of 2007, while Senator Obama was still a member of Trinity United Church of Christ, its Trumpet News magazine announced the recipient of its Lifetime Achievement Award.
And Barack Obama kissed it off by saying, well, that award was for Farrakhan's work with ex-offenders. Now that was a total lie. The article and the presentation never mentioned ex-offenders, but rather it was for lifetime achievements.
He has been called one of the most misunderstood and misdefined leaders of our day. The Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Jr. infers that when Minister Louis Farrakhan speaks, Black America listens.
He is one of the most important voices in the 20th and 21st century. That's what I think about him. As I said on Bill Moyers, when Louis Farrakhan speaks, it's like E.F. Hutton speaks. All Black America listens.
However, when Minister Farrakhan speaks, often this is what people hear.
White folks, you're going to have to give us the whole damn country. We don't give a damn about no white man law when you attack what we love.
You are not real Jews, those of you that are not real Jews. You are the synagogue of Satan.
Yes, they exercise extraordinary control. Calling someone Jaime is not an action against Jewish people. And black people will never be free in this country until they're free of that kind of control.
Minister Farrakhan saved his praise for Senator Obama.
He's fresh. He doesn't come with a lot of the baggage.
Whether you are broad enough to open your eyes, this young man is the hope of the entire world, that America will change and be made better because a better man may become her leader.
But Senator Obama was quick to distance himself from Farrakhan.
I obviously can't censor him, but it is not support that I sought, and we're not doing anything, I assure you, formally or informally with Minister Farrakhan.
Do you reject his support?
Well, Tim, I can't say to somebody that he can't say that he thinks I'm a good guy.
Minister Farrakhan is one of the most controversial voices in America, and is certainly a major force in Senator Obama's Hyde Park neighborhood and surrounding district. Obama and Minister Farrakhan live within walking distance of each other. Senator Obama and Reverend Wright both attended the Nation of Islam's Million Man March, and yet the media has never bothered to ask Obama about the existence of any past relationship between the two men, even in the wake of Farrakhan's endorsement of Obama. Senator Obama's campaign has also accused the press of mischief-making related to another Obama associate, one who lives just a block or two away.
Most Americans, if you told them their neighbor had set bombs, even if it was a long time ago, would probably be a little unnerved by that.
On the morning of September 11, 2001, readers of the New York Times found these chilling words: "I don't regret setting bombs. I feel we didn't do enough." Spoken by a forgotten American radical, they would later come back to haunt Senator Obama. In 1995, future Senator Barack Obama was feted at a fundraising event in his Chicago neighborhood. The event was hosted by William Ayers and Bernadine Dorn. In the late 60s and early 70s, Ayers and Dorn were the leaders of a violent terrorist organization, the Weathermen. The Weathermen participated in more than 20 bombings over a decade. Ayers admits to bombing the New York City Police Headquarters, the Capitol, and the Pentagon. In 1981, 4 people were killed when a Weatherman robbery of a Brinks armored car went awry. Ayers stated the Weathermen's philosophy as follows: kill all the rich people, break up their cars and apartments, bring the revolution home, kill your parents. That's where it's really at. After 11 years on the run, Ayers and Dorn turned themselves in. Subsequently, they were acquitted due to tainted evidence from illegal wiretaps. Said Ayers, "Guilty as hell and free as a bird." When the association with William Ayers was brought to the senator's attention, his response again never really settled the question of his judgment.
This is a guy who lives in my neighborhood, who's a professor of English in Chicago, who I know and who I have not received some official endorsement from. He's not somebody who I exchange ideas from on a regular basis. And the notion that somehow, as a consequence of me knowing somebody who engaged in detestable acts 40 years ago when I was 8 years old, somehow reflects on me and my values doesn't make much sense, George.
Barack Obama really couldn't bring himself to say, you know, I really don't like that guy.
You know, kids are out of control today. Duh. You know, I was out of control a few years ago myself.
That was too much for him to say. He had to talk about what a decent fellow he is and what a good professor, and how he's worked on education policy. Well, you know, Hamas has a widows and orphans fund, but that doesn't change the fact that their day job is creating widows and orphans.
The Obama-Ayers relationship goes further back than the 1995 political coming out party at Ayers' home. Obama was chosen as chairman of the board of the $50 million Chicago Annenberg Challenge. Ayers wrote the grant that founded the CAC and would have been closely involved with Obama's selection. They appeared on panel discussions together, and they served as directors of the Woods Fund together. Obama's affiliation with Ayers is made more troubling by the fact that neither Ayers nor Dorn are in any way repentant about their terrorist past.
Barack Obama is saying, well, take me at my judgment. Well, your judgment puts you in bed with Ayers and Jeremiah Wright. You know, what more do we need to see to say, you know what, this may not be the judgment we want in the Oval Office?
That a person continues to sort of build relationships and alliances with people who turn out to have nefarious backgrounds. That ought to give one pause.
William Ayers, Reverend Wright, and Father Michael Flager illustrate some of the radical political associations trailing Senator Obama. But success in Chicago's questionable political mix requires more than an appeal to the left. It requires money.
Barack Obama has his roots in the Cook County machine in Chicago. The same fundraiser who is being federally prosecuted today for illegally raising money for the governor of Illinois was Barack Obama's chief fundraiser.
Tony Rezko was a prominent businessman in Chicago. who began his career as a developer of low-income subsidized housing in 1989.
And was one of the first people to raise funds for Barack Obama. In fact, he offered Barack Obama a job before Barack Obama served in the Illinois Senate.
In 2005, the Obamas purchased a mansion in Hyde Park for $1.65 million. Rezko toured the house with Obama prior to the purchase. Was there an improper involvement? Perhaps there is a bigger question.
In all my conduct, there's never been any implications, including in this situation, that I in any way used my office to do favors for people, to help folks, betray the public trust in any sort of way.
What did Barack Obama ever do for Tony Rezko? He wrote a letter specifically to help Rezko and his former law firm boss to get a $14.6 million housing deal that involved a heavy amount of development fees. There are several bills that involve special tax credits for developers of subsidized housing. If you look at all those things, you say, really, Barack Obama did quite a bit for Tony Rezko. And it makes sense that Rezko and several other developers gave him the seed money for his political career.
Tony Rezko has been convicted on federal extortion and bribery charges related to his fundraising activities for Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. He also faces felony charges in Las Vegas over nearly $500,000 in gambling debts. When Rezko was convicted, Obama issued this statement: "I'm saddened by today's verdict. This isn't the Tony Rezko I knew."
There's a bit of a pattern of cognitive dissonance when it comes to friends who have been tainted by scandal or controversy.
Obama still says, well, I didn't know him very well. Then after evidence is produced that Obama knew Rezko and the others extremely well, Obama says, well, he's turning out not to be the person I thought he was. And then finally, there's enough evidence produced where Obama says, well, I just disassociate myself from Rezko, from Reverend Wright, from Louis Farrakhan, from William Ayers. By the time Obama's finished disassociating himself from his Chicago associations, it's hard to know what he was doing in Chicago. It's all a lie.
It has recently been revealed by Joe Stevens of the Washington Post that Senator Obama received a preferential rate on his super jumbo loan for the purchase of their Hyde Park mansion from Northern Trust. ABC News' Jake Tapper commented, "Again, the Obama campaign seems to handle these things by closing their eyes, holding their breath, and hoping a starstruck media will leave it at that."
The land deal is such a red flag. It's just no one is looking at what's under that red flag.
Anyway, guys, come on now. I mean, I just answered like 8 questions.
Unless the mainstream media asks the tough questions, we may never know. What we do know is, at the least, with Wright, Ayers, and Rezko, Barack Obama should have used more of his vaunted judgment. As with his Chicago associates and his spiritual guides, Senator Barack Obama's endorsements shine a clear light on who will be looking for support if he wins the presidency.
As I understand it, you've just come from the AFL-CIO meeting. They have voted to endorse Barack Obama?
Yes, 62-0 to endorse Barack Obama.
Hi, I'm Nancy Keenan. I'm president at NARA Pro-Choice America. And we're here today to announce that we are endorsing Senator Barack Obama for President of the United States.
It's time again for a new generation of leadership. It is time now for Barack Obama.
Barack Obama racking up another endorsement today, this one coming straight from Cuba's Fidel Castro.
We like Mr. Obama, and we hope that he will the election. And I do believe he's like John Kennedy, great man with a great principle.
لازلنا احنا نعمل ان الاسود هذا يكون معتز بافريقيته وباسلامه وبعقيدته.
There is a group of people, labor unions, trial lawyers, pro-choice groups, that contribute huge amounts of money to political races. And he'll be beholden to the same people. It's not going to be different.
Obama has left the church, says he's left Ayers, left Farrakhan, and all the others. But because of Senator Obama's less than clear explanations, the question still remains: how much of Wright, Ayers, Farrakhan, and Rezko is left in Obama?
The truth is, a politician like Obama can't simply shed his past, like a snake sheds a skin. The character issue is there. It's a key issue.
The change will not be easy. That's the change we need. Change will take time.
It's not a single factor, but it is the single most disturbing pattern is the pattern itself that reveals his true political philosophy and actually shines a light on his true political track record. And I'm hoping that the truth will set us free.
Unity, hope, change. A campaign filled with promises and expectations, fueled by hype. Is there a smoking gun hidden in Senator Obama's history? That is a question we can leave to the blogosphere. We don't need a smoking gun. We don't need to fear skeletons in the closet. Because beyond the hype, there are clear facts that answer any question we need to know about Senator Obama.
If you want to have more taxes taken out of your check, Obama's your choice. If you want the government to be more in charge of things like your health care, where your kids go to school, and what kind of programs that we'll end up paying for, Obama's your guy.
I think the potential liability weakness of Senator Obama is the national security experience. Can he deal with the threat of terror? Can he deal on the world scene? Does he know what's going on? Can he be an effective commander-in-chief? That is the thing that I believe worries the Obama people.
Obama's ties to radicals do not make him a radical. His ties to communists don't make him a communist. His ties to a terrorist don't make him a terrorist. The question, though, that people should be asking is, what sort of judgment does a man have when he chooses his friends and he ends up with people like William Ayers, people like the Reverend Jeremiah Wright, people like Tony Rezko?
You know, I think it's shocking that Barack Obama has gotten as far as he's gotten, but you have got to look at the person, and too many people have blinders on, and they just disregard all these clues to character, and they disregard the track record, and they vote for basically an actor, a very good actor.
It's not enough to talk about change. You have to put yourself at risk, and that's one thing I really haven't seen Barack Obama do yet.
We need somebody whose steady hand at the helm is going to make us a better, a stronger, and more secure nation.
It's not change, but change we can believe in.
Hope.
Hope.
And hope.
The hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too. Hope.
I think he's been successful with those words because they have absolutely no meaning whatsoever. It is stunning, the emptiness of I have never in my life seen political rhetoric that profoundly empty. What change do you want? And the media, no one says put it on the table. Who are you? What change? If we put the reins of power in your hands, what road are you going to take us down?
Unity is a word, just like change is a word, just like hope is a word. What do they really mean? Are they just being utilized for some other purpose?
At the end of the day, you don't go by what people say, you go by what they do.
For young people in America today, I think they're focused on that word change, meaning this man is going to bring us hope.
I have hope. Hope.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry.
For 8 years.
We all thought it was gone, and now it's back.
Hope.
I'm not sure Senator Obama even understands it. You can't get hope from somebody else. And their level of expectations here from Senator Obama are so high. Based on everything I know about this man, he's going to break their hearts.
I sometimes wonder if the world is a big enough environment for Obama's ego. When Obama comes to Europe and proclaims he's a citizen of the world, well, that might in Obama's world be a good thing to say, but